Brown and Syme Painting Contractors proudly present Rumble and Roar at Ampro Tools Woodford Glen Speedway. On tonight's show, McCall Trophy and Remembrance champs in association with Federal Print, Streetstocks, Teams Racing.
Cut for all your concrete cutting needs.
Streetstocks.
Racing now, and of course we've got our New Zealand Streetstock title coming up in February, so these guys very, very keen to get a bit of a hit out and a bit of practice in, and there's already a big hit on the 32 of Levi Angau, who gets spun around there, but plenty of action down the field as cars try and avoid him. Out front, it's that 77 car I mentioned, Corey Schumacher, who leads them through turns 3 and 4. And we've got plenty of action further down the field. We're racing again now, and Corey Schumacher still leading them away from the 27 car of Paul Leslie, who's worked his way up through the field. There's that little black machine of Colin Robinson again. It's like one of those little black flies. You just can't get rid of it, eh? It just keeps coming through from the field and getting up the front. Schumacher's made a bit of a hash of that and goes round, and that leaves Leslie to inherit the lead. Robinson has to take a bit of evasive action, and that allows the 63 of that wily old charger, Steve Jackson, to take over second place. Chris Lee gets involved in a bit of a bingle in turn 1 and 2 and ends up parked face into the wall, but he's trying to get his car sorted out there. Further back down the field, several cars trying to avoid him, but they've all got through, and Chris Lee rejoins. So 27, Paul Leslie still taking the lead of this race from the, looks like the 46 car of Sean Andrew there. There's Steve Jackson looking a little bit fast around the outside, and he takes over second place now in his 63, the Kiwi Auto Spares car. However, it doesn't go around the corners quite so well. We've got a car with a bit of bodywork hanging out there, making it twice as wide as it should be. That is that 46 car of Sean Andrew, and he gets punted to the infield by the 8 car of Colin Robinson, who obviously feels a little bit aggrieved about something that may have happened earlier in the race. Chris Lee's got turned around again, coming out of turn 1 by the 22 car of Brandon Schumacher, and we've also got the 61 involved in the action there as well. Oh, we've got one over in turn 3 and 4. Was that?
I missed that, but
February. So we're racing again, and Paul Leslie has to avoid the very steaming car in front of him there, that 84 car, but he's away and racing with Steve Jackson trying to track him down, but Leslie's got a good run through the traffic there, and Jackson's got to use the bumper a little bit to try and stay with him. So Paul Leslie looking pretty sharp and racy here in the 27 car as he comes up on the back of Chris Lee. He's going to try and work around the outside of Lee's big wagon. Steve Jackson's caught up a little bit. You get the feeling that Jackson's possibly got the quicker car. The third place at the moment is the 13 car of Scott Palmer, with the car with the shopping basket on the top. Paul Leslie runs a little wide, forced a little wide really to get round Chris Lee, and that's played into the hands of Steve Jackson. We've got Palmer backed himself into the turn 4 wall there, so he's lost his placing, and that means third place now is Colin Robinson in the 8 car, followed by Shane Pedley in the 5 and Corey Schumacher in the 77. Going down the back straight to Steve Jackson's managed to get it past Paul Leslie's car, with Chris Lee still hogging that pole line, and that's forcing both cars out wide. No doubt about it, Steve Jackson's got the quicker car on that line of the track. We've got cars 3 wide coming out of turn 4 there, in sort of 4th to 8th place. A little bit of action involving Levi Angau and the 4 car there of Toby McClanahan. So the white flag in Brian's hand, and he's going to be waving it this time, I think, for the 63, Steve Jackson. It's been a while since he's had such a dominant win in a race at Woodford Glen, but it's good to see him back to good form. He has to avoid the 269 car there, who was rejoining the race after getting hung up on the wall. But we've got another red.
After the break, Modifieds.
Stressed? Relax. Hanma Holiday Homes.
Welcome back.
He's got that pole position off the inside and Gary Lennon on the outside, but boy oh boy, it's tight at the top with Luke Keegan in there as well, and it's Hayden McCall who takes the early lead as they come out through turns 1 and 2, and Keegan navigates the traffic to take out second place. David Thompson's in third, but Gary Lennon fighting back on the inside and manages to take that third place as they go through 3 and 4. We go back to 67 of Nigel Nevin and the 46 of Brett Stack, and he's under a lot of pressure from Brandon Parkinson and Todd Richards there as well. Andrew Navin's in the mix as well with the 69 car. But out front, it's all Hayden McCall. He's clearing out ahead of Luke Keegan here. He seems to have Keegan's number in these early laps of this race. We think it might be going to 15 laps this race. We're not sure, but no one tells us anything, but we'd like it to be 15 laps anyway. Hayden McCall, good lead, 10, 12 car lengths over Luke Keegan, and he's got 6 or 7 car lengths over a ding-dong battle between the 9 of Gary Lennon and the 10 of David Thompson. They're swapping places there for third. Fourth place at the moment would be the 67 of Nigel Nevin. Then we go back to Brett Stack in the 46 and the 15 car of Todd Richards. So out front, Hayden McCall doing the business. Luke Keegan running a higher line, trying to reel him in, trying to find a little bit more grip. Grip is at a premium on this track, I can tell you, and Keegan's working damn hard to try and find it. Gary Lennon's broken free from Thompson, and he's in a clear third place now. Goes back about 8 or 9 car lengths to Thompson, who's about 10 car lengths ahead of the 67 of Nigel Nevin. We then go back to Stack, Richards in the 15, and Brandon Parkinson starting to move up in that 5 GM car from the coast. Out front, still Hayden McCall. He's having to deal with some lap traffic there. The 88 of Phil Allen is in the way, and he's going around the outside of him, so puts Allen a lap down with the 1NZ of Luke Keegan the next to try and navigate that lap traffic. Both Mackay and Keegan running the high lines. We've gone yellow because we've had a bingle up in turn 3 and 4. So we're racing green and racing. Hayden Mackay leads them away. It's really important for Luke to stay with Hayden as much as he can in this next lap or two to position himself well for the end of the race. Gary Lennon needs to get past well, he already has got past the 34 car. He needs to try and get past the 10 car there to take out third place as well. So there's a few battles around the track here worth keeping an eye on. Out front, Hayden Mackay seems to have opened up a bit of a lead over the 1NZ of Luke Keegan. Has Keegan got anything he can respond with? What can Gary Lennon do? He's pushing hard on the inside line, trying to come up the inside of the 10 of David Thompson, but Taves Thompson shuts the door and seems to have that third place pretty well sewn up at the moment. Gary Lennon working hard, but dropping back slightly as he takes more and more risks to try and get round quicker. Out front, it's Hayden Mackay pushing that car neatly through turns 3 and 4. Luke Keegan just running a higher line and running a little wider, and actually seems to be losing out a little bit as a result. He really needs to keep his foot up it as he goes through turns 1 and 2. He does, but still Mackay. He's getting good performance out of that car of his, and it's working really well for him in a mid-track line. Third for 6 laps. We're green and racing. Hayden Mackay gets a good start. Luke Keegan chasing again. Still that battle rages between Lennon and Thompson for third, but Thompson seems to have it. Lennon closes up fast, but not quite get there. Luke Keegan trying his very best to stay with Hayden Mackay and trying a lower line on the track now. You get the feeling that Keegan needs to really stay with him in the next lap or two if he's going to have a chance. The track's starting to come to Keegan possibly as the dust flies, and Keegan flies around turn 1 and 2 with it, but still Hayden Mackay maintains that lead. Hayden Mackay first, the 3NZ car, leading this race from the 1NZ car of Luke Keegan. We've got 10, 12 car lengths back to that battle between Thompson and Gary Lennon. Lennon goes round in turn 1, and that leaves Thompson alone in third place and leaves Gary Lennon straddling the pole line in turn 1. He's going to sit there till the lights go yellow, isn't he? And they do, and he does. But he did that all by himself, and he's going to surely have to go to the back of the field for that being the cause of those yellows. So that's 11 laps completed for Hayden Mackay,
and that's the winner.
And so the race being called there in the interests of allowing us to get home before midnight.
So your winner there in the 3NZ Placemakers machine car is Hayden McCall over the 1NZ BRT Gypsy Royal Stud.
Super Saloons.
We are racing, and again Jackson Lovelady gets the better of Richie Taylor off the start line, but Richie Taylor looking pretty strong coming through turns 1 and 2. Fluffy again involved in a little bit of argy-bargy there with the 11 car, Jason Phillips, and Trevor Elliott running around the outside, lifting the wheel high as they go through Mastercard. Very spectacular stuff. Hope you got a picture of that, Brian. So there's 817 Jackson Lovelady just leading through by a nose from Richie Taylor, who's hard on the back of Lovelady's car. A couple of car lengths back to the 27 of Trevor Elliott. Jason in there in the 11 car. We go back to Mark Grocott in the 73. He's hugging that pole line, and he's going to be passed on the outside of this lap, I think, by the 891 of Josh Bolton, who's running that mid to outside line to good effect. So too is Willie Woodhouse, who's right on the back of Bolton there. We go back to Gavin Hill, also running the outside line. Roger Nees looking pretty sharp there, but not able to make a lot of progress. And we've got Paul Berg at the rear of the field, spins it up all by himself in the middle of turn 3. That's going to put the yellows on. Lady with Trevor Elliott in third place and Josh Bolton running the outside line there, getting alongside Elliott, and he could be about to sneak third place in this race, I think, if he can get a good exit from turn 2, and he does as well. That 891 car well hooked up in this particular race. He goes round the outside of Jackson Lovelady now, and they're neck and neck as they come through turn 4. Out front it's still Richie Taylor leading the race in that Fairview fiberglass car. It bumps and knocks around a little bit as it goes through turn 1, but he manages to keep the power down. It's Josh Bolton making all of the running here in the 891 car. The car looks like it's on rails in this particular heat. He's really starting to hunt down Richie Taylor at the front of the pack. Jackson Lovelady managing to stay with him. He's still in third place. Fluffy Grocott in the 73 car, sponsored by Brown and Syme, moving up the inside and starting to challenge for third as well now. Trevor Elliott looks as though he's holding up the 71 of Willie Woodhouse a little bit. Woodhouse runs the outside line and looks to get a little bit ahead of him. Jason Phillips running back a little bit there. Oh, we've had one round. Bruce Bolton, Martin Harcourt and Paul Berg, they're the ones left racing. And Richie Taylor leads them away. Gavin Hill running very, very wide into the dirt there and squirts the dirt out through turn 1 and 2. It doesn't get him very far though, and Willie Woodhouse making the challenge for third place there, coming alongside 27 of Trevor Elliott. Richie Taylor still looking comfortable enough out front. I don't think Lovelady's got what it takes to challenge Taylor, as he got what it takes to hold off this rampaging 71 car of Willie Woodhouse. Looks like the quickest car on the track at the moment, the one making all the moves. Gavin Hill switches to the inside line now to try and get a lap on Jason Phillips, with Trevor Elliott in his sight as well. But out front it's still Richie Taylor in that 58 car, driving, I would say, fairly carefully and conservatively, just from the way I've seen him throw that car around a lot more than he is on this particular occasion. So that gives you an indication that the track is a bit slick. It does look a little bit black through the turns. He's hugging that pole line through the turns, just drifting it mid-track on the straights and keeping everything together nicely. Jackson Lovelady, he's working hard to hold off Willie Woodhouse, who I'm not sure if the track's going to support the opportunity for Woodhouse to make a pass unless Lovelady makes a mistake. We go back about 7 or 8 car lengths to the 27 of Trevor Elliott, with Gavin Hill behind him. So the white flag this time round for Richie Taylor, the 58 car from Timaru, making it look pretty easy at this stage as he holds on to a substantial lead, I would say 20 car lengths now. Lovelady gone very defensive with the 71 of Woodhouse pushing up the inside. Will he get that line? He does. He gets his nose in front. Can he keep it in front? Coming out of turn 4. They're side by side. Very little in it. Jackson Lovelady just gets it according to the ELS.
Enjoyed the racing? Get on out to the next meeting at Woodford Glen Speedway. Ticket sales available at the Woodford Glen shop.